A society in which everybody's being spied on all the time is not a free society and can't be. My name is Bart Butler. I am the Chief Technology Officer of Proton Technologies AG. Proton was founded in the summer of 2014 in the wake of the Edward Snowden revelations about the NSA. It started out with a crowdfunding campaign, which at the time was the largest crowdfunding campaign for any software project, $500,000. And Proton was out in terms of MVP, and our first product was out by the end of 2014. If you use a major email service provider today, it's not as if your emails are being sent over the wire unencrypted entirely. It's not that somebody can, essentially do a digital wiretap and read your emails. Everything's using TLS, which is transport level encryption. But what's definitely true is if you're using most email providers, that they can read your messages and they can do whatever they like with that. And many of them are. That part is dangerous because if they are compromised or if they otherwise have interest, legitimate or otherwise, in reading those messages, they are able to access them. Email is archival, so people have email accounts which have all their messages since the beginning of time, right? And that is a tremendous amount of data for somebody to sift through and find either embarrassing things or sensitive things, financial things. A great example a few years ago was Sony Entertainment, Sony Pictures. There are a lot of emails from their internal organization, their top execs got leaked. It was extraordinarily embarrassing for the business. It ruined several people's careers. I mean, you could argue that maybe they deserved it for some of the things they said, but we're just inured to it at this point. It's not salacious anymore, but for the people whose lives have been dumped out on the internet, it obviously matters quite a bit. We cannot function if we cannot have private communications with people. So Proton's main goal is to provide an alternative to the existing set of tools available to people to communicate online, and in particular to try to change the conversation and really change the world in terms of what is expected by default when you use communication tools and what level of privacy one should expect when communicating. Like many of the early Proton employees, I was a physicist by training, so I spent many years at CERN, both as a grad student and a postdoc, working on the Large Hadron Collider, looking for new physics. And like many physicists, went into data science for a while. And that was difficult technically. It was interesting, but it didn't have very much meaning. I think that one of the best parts about working for Proton is that I get the meaning and the hard technical problems in the same job, which is important to me. I believe email is the most democratic communication tool in history because there's really no barrier to entry. Email really is your identity online. It always has been. I wouldn't say it always will be, but I can't imagine it won't be for the foreseeable future, simply because it's pretty much the one communications platform on the internet today which isn't controlled by a single entity. As a result, it remains the one thing that you can be assured of that everybody connected to the internet has. They have an email address. So much of our communication today is online, and all of it is controlled by a relatively small number of players who have full access to that data. If you cannot have a private conversation, you really do not have any freedom to speak of. What has changed in the digital era is that it is now technologically possible, whether it's nation states, whether it's corporations, to really monopolize and control all access to communication. The basic mail delivery protocol today, SMTP, is actually from 1981, which is older than I am. In many ways, it's a relic of a simpler and perhaps more naive time. We hear about data breaches every week now, and ransomware and other things. And it's clear that this is not a problem that gets solved by people just being more careful. It's a problem that gets solved by not having access to the data to begin with.